All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's never had it so good. And that was Duck Riley humming and singing to the song, not me. So when you hear it on replay, that was the infamous Duck Riley. How are you, sir?
Hey, Princess, I had add the pop lock into the robot. I'm good.
That was the song back in the day, wasn't it, Duck?
Oh, hey, Princess, I gotta sit down now.
That whole beat just makes me go back and remember. Amen.
Oh boy, I'm telling you, man. Hey, I should have look when they had Dancing with the Stars. I should have been on there.
You should have been on Dancing with the Stars. Wow.
Yeah.
Duck said, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." Amen. Amen. All right. We're waiting for the crew. I can't wait to this one. I can't wait till Tim Moore comes on, my fellow 76er fan, because I'm a 76er now.
Hey, look, all I know that's the traveling guy I know, man. Whew.
Yeah. Now I thought that Glenn DeVoe got around, and Doc is another one. Doc Basil, he gets around.
Oh, between Doc, Glenn, and Tim, they gotta have some air mileage or
Yeah.
some with some car mileage or something.
Yeah, I want some of their built up with Delta for sure. I want some of those mileages, for sure. You had a great weekend, Doug?
Hey, Princess, I've been blessed, yeah, and without a doubt. I'm up in Jersey. And look, go by. They were printing out LeBron's jerseys up here, right? They're all gone, Princess.
They all gone. Doug,
All gone.
he's a brand,
All sold out.
all brand by himself. I'm surprised. I knew he wasn't going back to Miami, but I thought maybe Cleveland was tugging at him. But he's going to go team up and see if he can get a couple more, at least one more, to compete with Michael Jordan. And let's see. Welcome to the show, Jason Collins.
What's going on, guys? Good to be on with you guys.
Good to be on with you too. We are, Jason. We are. Yeah.
Always, princess. Always.
As we get closer to the season, I know Doug has questions for us. Are you getting excited though? This is a new regime, and James Franklin is off at Virginia Tech. Your thoughts about where Penn State is right now?
I can't wait, princess. I actually went on ESPN today and started looking at the week one schedule just because I was so excited. But Penn State's in an interesting spot. I mean, we lost, I think, over 40 guys to the
Mm,
transfer
yeah,
portal. We brought in about 40 guys. So it's going to be interesting. I think we've got a pretty good starting lineup on offense and defense, but depth depth could be an issue. So if we don't stay healthy, we'll kind of see how things play out.
yeah, yeah. Duck, I mean Duck, Jason. Welcome to the show, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's everybody?
Doing really
What
good.
up?
Hey,
I want to pause
hey,
and say,
world.
Kevin, okay, I'm just coming to stay with you for a week. I want to do Yankees and I want to do Liberty because you live in the life. Every time I look at a Yankees game, I don't care if they win or lose. I know you do. I just want to go and sit in the stands with you. So, good stuff there. But Jason, I feel the same way about college football coming up, and we have a new coach too. But I think that we have fallen off the wagon much more than Penn State has been relevant the past 10, 15 years, and I don't think the Gators have. And I continue to say this: I don't care anything about new uniforms. I don't give a darn what color they are. They have alligator skin on one part. Do something on the field. And I'm happy that we are coming out with just a game, but then that sets it up too. If they come out and don't beat FAU, what does that say about us? So, but I'm excited about the season. We're 40 days away, and a little bit less than that if you want just a gimme game on Thursday, for sure. Kevin, your thoughts about college football? I'll ask you too. Jason said he's excited. He's going to look at the week one schedule, and that's usually Labor Day weekend. It's going to be a good one.
hmm
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm right on board with Jay here. I'm looking forward to the season, especially the Gators. I'm following Summerall, and I'm liking his energy. I like the
Mhm.
fact that he kept some key guys there, Vernon and Ball as well.
Mhm.
He didn't get them, he didn't lose them, or because there were people knocking at the door offering them everything under the sun for them
Yeah.
to join their program. So I'm excited. That's a good sign for the Florida Gator program there, as far as you can lock those guys up. So you can lock those guys up, and that offensive line. I know that's a question mark right now going in, but I'm excited for the defensive line. From what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, that defensive line is going to wreak havoc week in and week out. Quarterback position is a battle there, or competition, I should say. So we're going to see how that plays out. But I'm excited to not just for the Gators, but just for football in general. Anytime you go without football for a while, you get hungry, you get thirsty, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, Duncan, I'm gonna just give me a minute because I know this is too much Gator for you. Hold on. But I saw on ESPN Poker the other day. I said, "Man, we we don't have anything else to do right now." But two things: offensive line coach Phil Troutman came back to the Gators from Penn State, so he's back, and I think he was a national champion. Also, the running back coach from Florida went to Texas, and they threw 2 million at Jaden Ball,
Yeah,
which was our number one we had to get,
yeah,
and he stayed for 1.5 million and some other things surrounding. And I'm wishing DJ Lagway, much luck.
yeah.
I'm wishing him nothing but luck, and maybe he's got a. I just don't think that Napier really wanted to give up calling plays, and maybe that handcuff DJ Lagway, but he was hurt. He was hurt a lot in the off season, and that's where we are. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Glad to be with you.
What country are you in today, or state?
I'm I'm actually in Columbus, Ohio, heading toward Dayton.
Headed towards Dayton. Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
on the highway.
Okay, hold on right there, Tim. Duck, your thoughts about West Virginia? And I know we got to get started. Your thoughts about the Mountaineers? Because I think we all know this. We don't know any of the guys. Most of them have come from the portal for the Gators, for Penn State. What about WVU, Duck?
All of them from the portal. But anyway, for instance, if we don't win a game, we got the number one song in the country.
Oh Lord, here we go.
We're internationally known.
I'm gonna say it once, Tim. Get your boy. I just yeah.
Hey, the other thing, for instance, you were talking about the offensive line coach for Florida. He played at Eastern High School up here in New Jersey.
Really, Phil Troutman? I didn't know that. I didn't know
Wow,
that.
really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, he was on that national championship team with Chris Leak, um, and I think it was when Tim Tebow was coming off the bench.
Freshman.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
freshman. But Phil Troutman is a good one, and he's recruited well since being back at Florida. And I don't know why that was a number one get, but I think once the staff kind of broke up at Penn State, he was available, and they moved him away. So. Um, all right, Tim, I asked everybody else your thoughts about college football coming up 40 days and less.
Excited. Excited. I always get kind of tuned up around this time of year, um, just to kind of see how teams come out of the chute. Because
Mm-hmm.
generally the first couple of weeks are telling.
Yep.
And to me, those are the most exciting weeks of the season. And as opposed to well, how am I saying that? That and the last couple of weeks of the
Yep.
season to me are the most exciting parts of the year.
Yeah, I agree with you. That beginning first two or three games, and then anything right before Thanksgiving on, and it starts kind of play out. All right, Duck, go ahead. I'll be quiet for a moment.
All right, we talking hot topics, and we want to backtrack a little bit. We bring K World and Jason in. Jason, we were talking about Deshaun Watson for the last 2 weeks, and about feeling pressure from the organization, maybe to settle down, get married. Your thoughts on that?
Wow. Man, that's interesting. I think that's I've never heard of something like that. Sure. Uh, Look, and I get it. I mean, because Deshaun kind of did a complete 180 in the media with his image. Like when he came out of Clemson, he was pristine. Dabo Sweeney compared him to Michael Jordan at one time. And
Mhm.
then, the whole massage debacle, I mean, it just completely changed his image. And then the fact that he hasn't really been able to get on the field either hasn't helped. Look, I don't know about him settling down and getting married, but I do know that when you play good football, that cures a lot of things. So if I'm him, I'd focus on getting out there and playing really, really good football, and I think that'll take care of a lot of the stuff that's in the media about it.
Okay, K. World, same question.
Yeah, similar to Jay. Yeah, I think he's excited to get back into the mix, if you will. As far as the pressure goes, I don't know if he feels pressure, coach. I think it's more excitement. He's I think he's anxious. I think he knows he can win the job, and he wants to. I think he wants to prove a lot of people wrong. That has talked about his on the off field antics, if you will. And I think he's fired up. He's focused, and they got a decent team around him, a decent offense anyway. And I think he gets it done. As far as the marriage thing, some people just don't need to be married, coach, and I think Deshaun Watson is one of those dudes. So,
He got married last summer. He got married last summer.
like I said, some people don't need to be married,
So whenever they do it.
right? Whatever they're doing.
All right, Prince.
Yeah, Duck, there's so much here. I thought he came out of Clemson. He's one of my favorite people. And I think it's what Jason said, debacle. That's about as light as I could say that was. But he found that easy. And when I say he found that easy to secure dates, massages that turned into other things. But at Houston, he had 4 years where he threw for over 4,000 passing yards. And then all of this happened and he goes to Cleveland and it just never gets right. And I do think that Haslam, the owner, said, "Hey, coming back this year, we need you to settle down, or whenever you get back." I do think they encourage that. And he married his longtime girlfriend from 2018, 2019. Now, is and I've said this live on air. If that's my daughter, I don't co-sign that, and I would really encourage her not to do that. Duck said live on air she had 231 million reasons to do it, and she did it. She's a beautiful girl, seems intelligent. There's a lot of um, footage out there of her playing golf with Deshaun and her brother. Her brother seems to be kind of living with them too, or at least visiting a lot. And she says she's living the life. And I hope it works out overall. I hope that this is a new Deshaun Watson and that he can put all of that behind him um, and move forward and be successful. Deshaun Watson was not only pristine in his personality, he was the man on campus and won a national championship coming into the NFL and really lighting it up at Houston. But somewhere in the middle of all of that, it fell through or it fell apart. And Houston told on them, and Deshaun, then takes all of their branding down on social media. I don't know what that does. That whole era of I don't like you, so I'm gonna unfollow you and all of that foolishness. I don't really get, but here we are, and I do think they encouraged him to get a better uh, personality image and to cultivate that a little bit, and maybe being married does that. I agree with Kevin though. I don't know if marriage is for him.
Okay, Tim.
Well, as I said before, I think if they can get, I think his biggest problem the last few years has been injuries. Um, that situation in Houston was an ugly episode, but it's interesting that none of that came out until he decided he wanted to leave town. Um, so I feel like the biggest problem that he's had in recent years is his injury, and if he can come back a quarter of what he was in his last couple of years in Houston, that will be a major boom for the Cleveland Browns because he was, for a while, the most productive quarterback in the NFL. And I'm cheering for him, but I'm like Princess. Like I said last week, if it were my daughter, I would be saying, "Run, Forrest, run."
All right, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I had this interesting conversation with my nephew over the weekend, and he kind of put the blame on Deshaun Watson. Your thoughts about that, Tim?
The
Was it
blame
all his fault?
for the thing in Houston.
Everything that has trans.
Well, if they what they accused him of is true, then he should not have been doing all of that. But I think the team really, you know, blew that thing up quite a bit and made it a much bigger thing than what it needed to be. I think that could have been dealt with differently. So I don't put all of the blame on him, but yeah, he's responsible for some of it.
Okay, Jason, your thoughts on it because it takes two to tango. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
It does, Coach, but I would probably have to put the lion's share of the blame on Deshaun because I mean he wasn't even being discreet about anything he was doing. I mean, he was being reckless, Coach. I mean, how many different massage therapists was he using? I mean, at the team facility. I mean, he was completely out of control with it. So to me, I think for me, he gets the lion's share of the blame. Could the team have handled some things differently? Probably, yes, to Tim's point. But look, Deshaun is the guy behind all of it. So to me, he takes the lion's share of the blame.
Okay, K World. So you hear what Jason said. You hear what Tim said. So none of those massage therapists could say no. But I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, Coach, I get where you're coming from, but there's still a line from Martin and Mama Payne. If it smells like 2 day old chicken everywhere you go, then it's you. you know, then it's you. So, yeah, I'm going to put the majority of the blame on Deshaun. I mean, those women know who he is, and he could have easily. I don't know if he initiated it or if some of the massage therapists, flirted with him or made a pass at him, whatever you want to call it, and they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. So, it's still up to Deshaun at the end of the day to either go ahead with this or walk away. So I'm putting the majority of the blame, if not all of it, on Deshaun Watson.
Okay, Princess being a female.
Come on, Duck.
Yep.
Now, come on.
All right, all right.
Duck,
Talk to me.
Duck, he was shopping on Instagram. I don't, and he was inboxing these ladies, and maybe some just said, "Sure, you know, I can give you a massage. Let's come up with the place." And then once they found out who he was, I'm sure some said yes because of that. But he had, gosh, I was just looking at it here. He had over 70 massages from how many women? 30, 40 different women just at the Texans facility. He was reckless. And then some came out and said sometimes he wanted a towel, other times he didn't care about the towel. No, after a while, he wasn't worried about that. Let's just get on to the end here. Let's not even play around. Duck, he initiated this. I don't know any of the women that have come forward and said, I contacted him and see if he wanted a massage. And he got reckless with this. He found this to be easy to do, and he did it. But if he could have maybe go somewhere else, go to his home, maybe that's not what he wanted to do. But the Texans facility, where everybody is coming and going, after a while, they just said, okay, she's coming to see Deshaun. She's coming to see Deshaun. And then they put out the numbers. He was reckless, Doug. And even if they said yes, I'm sure that some didn't know about the others. Some may have. You guys know how you do it, right, Doug? You know, you don't let everybody know.
Now, ho.
You
Don't pull.
guys, what does
Oh,
that
no,
mean?
no. Man. I don't know who's listening to this.
Right?
She's not asking me that question.
Keep it real, coach.
You gonna pull me in that on
Right?
that? Hey, Tim, get your girl, Tim. Oh my goodness! All right, let's hurry up and change this up. The next hot topic: 5 for 5 NCAA rule, letting you know that no injury whatsoever would count. So you're only gonna get 5 for 5. BYU, any Mormons, or the military, it doesn't apply to them. Your thoughts, Princess?
When you say it doesn't apply to the Mormons in their mission, they have to
Right.
mission trip. So that five.
If they have, right. If they have to go and come back, then it'll start back where they left off.
Wow. Okay. Well. All right. Isn't it the Mormons that can't eat chocolate? So maybe that's. I mean, okay. Let me leave that alone.
No
I
stimulus. No stimulus at all. They
no
don't drink
stimulus,
coffee.
no stimulus at all. No coffee. No chocolate. No sex. No sex.
They do that, but they're not supposed to.
Get out of here, Tim.
They're not supposed to
That's
unless they're married.
that's crazy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Princess, you remember that's why a few of the brothers had to leave there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A few of the brothers had to go. This ain't for.
Yeah.
And even Tim
Yeah.
chimed in. That's crazy. Wait a minute. What did you But the 5 for 5 overall, I like it. And we'll stop some of this. Petitioning the NCAA for an additional year. As I said last week, the Miami tight end was on year 8, and I know there were some injuries, and he was at 2 other schools. But year 8, that means he got a lot of petitioning and won. And I didn't think Pavia was going to win, and saying that his junior college time should not count against his D1 competition, and he won. So 5 for 5, I like this. I think this will go a long way. And then if the Mormons get their mission trip doesn't count against them, I don't mind that. But somehow they had to get a hold of this. And even if you're injured in year 2, you still have 3, 4, and 5.
Okay. Tim?
I kind of like it myself. I think the brother, the brother that was playing for his 8th year that's a little excessive. And I do understand, like Princess said, that he had a few injuries along the way, but still, he had a kid playing. He's 30 years old playing against 19, 20-year olds. That's from a competition standpoint, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Um, and so I like the idea of to 5 years to get your eligibility.
Did you also know, Tim, he was late coming to practice after he finished teaching his class?
Dang.
All right, Jason, 5 for 5. You and Kevin play at the highest level. 5 for 5, and the idea of what about the kids that are already there?
Yeah, in general, I like 5 for 5. I think it's going to solve 95% of the eligibility issues in college football. I like the fact that you don't have to worry about red shirting. Like if a kid's ready to play, they can play a little bit and not have to worry about losing that year. So
Mhm.
I like 5 for 5. I do think there will be a few cases, where if someone suffers a serious injury for a couple of years in a row, they're going to miss out of having an opportunity to play. But that's sort of just the nature of the game of football. So in general, I really do like the 5 for 5 rule. I think it's going to be really good for college football.
Okay, K World.
Yeah, I agree with Tim and Jason. I like it, Coach, because again, to echo what Jay and Tim already have said, is that it eliminates those guys who are trying to stay, squat, if you will, and a lot of eliminates those players who they could play 4 games one year, but then the next year, I mean, then they don't play for the remainder of the season, and then they go on to play for another 4, 5, 6 years, as you guys mentioned, the tight end 8 years. Yeah, I think getting rid of that is it's a it's a great thing. So I like it. It kind of like goes back to where we were at when we played, because you really only had two red shirts. You had a regular red shirt, and then you had a medical red shirt. I don't remember anyone going more than 6 years and not playing, but but being part of the program, because they either red shirted coming straight into college, or they got hurt at some point where they had to use a medical red shirt. So it eliminates that aspect of it, and it allows these guys, to focus. If it's right then and there. The pressure is on them to perform, perform right away, because you don't have time to just sit back and redshirt and say, okay, I'll wait another year. But as far as the guys that are already there, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how how that works out for them. Hopefully, these guys are ready to play or ready to go, and a lot of these guys probably won't be able to go to that next level because of the they just don't have that skill set. But overall, again, I do like it, because again, it eliminates, and again, to use the word I used earlier, the squatting, if you will. That's how I looked at it.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, the way I understand for the guys that are already there too, I think the rule applies to them. So
Hmm.
like if you're let's say you're a senior right now that has played 4 years, or say you're coming into your fourth year, now you've got another year, like even if you never redshirted. So I think that rule is
Hmm.
going to apply to the guys that are already there. So there's been a bunch of college football players that once that rule went into effect, they've realized, hey, I've got another year of eligibility if I need it. So I think overall it's good.
Okay. Yeah. Good point too. And I heard a few guys saying that they were going to try to get that other year as soon as it was passed by the NCAA. So yeah. Let me move on and stay with you, K World. Let's talk a little bit more about this NIL. You got Saban saying stuff. You got Prince's president saying stuff,
Get the
and you, and you got and they're trying to put a cap on it. And some of the thoughts that has come out with Princess and some of the guys in the X File and Tim, we had talked about maybe with that NIL, you know, putting money at the end, so to help them with graduation, the incentive. So your thoughts on that, K World?
Yeah, I love that idea, Coach. Especially the capped aspect of it, because a lot of programs now have general managers, so they know how to to work. They should know how to stay under that particular cap. Being a general manager, they have to know how to the ins and outs, not just recruiting and bringing guys in and managing those guys, but they have to manage the financial aspect of it as well. As far as the end of it, yeah, coach, that's another great idea. Is having that, I don't know if you're gonna call it deferred, that deferred money to allow them, to have that just in case, for education. If they don't graduate, they don't go to the pros, and they're not going to be able to keep their scholarship and of towards education, they can use that for either education or just getting their life together, starting off, buying a home, buying a car, whatever the case may be. So I like it in that aspect, and I just hope they have also programs bringing financial advisors. I'm pretty sure they do, but as long as
Hmm.
these guys speak to them and let them and teach them how to manage their money, prepare them for after college football, especially with the 5 for 5 there as well. They can't stay around and collect that NIL money as long as they like. So I like it overall, Coach.
Okay, Princess.
So the NIL now there is a possibility or an avenue where if well I guess you can anyway, but is the school offering some deferred payments or is this all on them to get a financial advisor and put some of it away?
I think don't quote me. This is just my opinion. I haven't heard anything differently. Right now, it's more of the kids
Mm-hmm.
if they want to defer. I haven't really heard anybody, and I'm sure somebody has
Mm-hmm.
deferred their money, but as of right now, let's just take it that they haven't.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I wish they would uh, defer in, but if you have been in a certain economic status, um, all of your life, and here you are at 18. It really is your first venture out of the house and to be by yourself. And someone says $500,000 in an apartment and a new truck. All you got to do is put gas in it. It's leased, and we hold the insurance, all of that too. So it's hard for them to say, okay, I'm going to put 250,000 away and have fun with this 250,000. When that 250,000 is gone, they're knocking on the door saying, hey, I need a little bit more, because they're living that life. But I'm hoping and praying that the mature um, thought process wins out, and that the parents are promoting this. But a lot of parents are saying too, how much is he getting? Everybody kind of has their hands out. But I hope that they can and will put some away to start life, because at 18 and 20, you're just really understanding and getting exposed to independency. But there's still a lot of life to live, and I hope that they can do that. I want to do it.
Okay, Tim.
I think either the
He's
NCAA
on
or the
mute.
schools have
Let
to
me
have a rule
see.
in place to do that
He's
because I don't think
driving, Duck. I
kids
don't
are.
want to take him off
Okay,
mute.
all right.
Can you hear me?
Okay,
Can you hear me?
uh, Jason, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I am not a fan of capping NIL in any way. Like if Nike wants to give someone $1 million or Gatorade or Doritos or whatever, I don't think there should be a cap on NIL. I do like the idea of maybe deferring some of it though, Coach, because I know when I was in college, if I was getting that kind of money, I would have been running through it. I don't think there's any question about
Preach.
that. So I think if you could defer that money and, when these guys get a little bit more understanding and a little bit more financial literacy, I think that would be a great thing. But I don't want to see the money capped. I want them to get as much as they can while they can, because we all know that 98% of these guys are not going to play in the NFL. And if they do, it's probably going to be a short career. So get as much as you can while you can. But I never heard anyone talk about deferring it. I think that's a great idea. So as these guys mature and grow, maybe they'll have a little bit better understanding on how to make that money work for them.
Yeah, and my nephew he's traveling around talking about financial literacy, and we had him on the show, and he has some good ideas and stuff. And I'm hoping, like K. World said earlier, I'm hoping that more colleges are utilizing these guys to come in and talk. Because they're some of these guys coming out of high school going into college, they're getting some good money,
Yeah, but
and
I've heard. I'm sorry to interrupt. I've heard so many times, and I agree. They should get a financial advisor. Should be secured, but so many guys, and you get the roadmap, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what you have available to spend all year. And once you run out, you've run out. I'm not going to give, or we're not going to go into the pot for more. A lot of the financial advisors have been fired at that point and said, "Man, get away." You know, so you his imposed discipline on yourself, but a lot of times, they take that discipline right back away and fire their financial advisor, and then they still run through the money, as Jason said he would, and I would have too at that age. um I could have been buying Jimmy Choo and Michael Kors much earlier in life,
yeah,
but um
okay. Okay. Anyway, look, and I don't know, K. World, Jason, and Princess, even Tim. I talked to one guy who I consider a street agent. He was trying to get 50% from them guys.
What?
50%. I was I was shocked. I couldn't believe it that somebody would. Well, kids don't have money. Somebody's trying to help them get money.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're gonna ask them for 50%, and you're gonna get half of what they, a million, half of a million.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just thought that was crazy. But
Hmm.
Yeah, coach. And I think the other thing too, and because I know at Penn State, one of the things they're doing is they're setting up LLCs for all the guys, so to try to help with some of the taxes and things like that.
right.
But I hope guys are thinking about taxes. Like if they're getting 800 grand, like I hope they know like that's not really 800. So that's the thing I worry about. Like if these guys really understand how taxes work and hopefully Uncle Sam's not going to be hitting them with a big tax bill down the road.
And you kind of jumped into my next question. So you already eliminated that because you talked about taxes, and that was something that they definitely need to know about. Shit. Uh, Let me stay with you, Jason. Let's talk a little NFL coaches. Brian Flores, Wilkes, Horton. So they're moving forward with the case with Brian Flores. Your thoughts on that? Will he ever get if he wins the settlement? Will he ever get another head coaching job? Just kind of what's your thoughts about it?
I kind of remember when the whole thing went down. I felt like they did Flores dirty when it happened. Um, Now, will he ever get another opportunity to be a head football coach? Man, I don't know, coach. I would probably lean towards no, just because we've seen the NFL railroad people in the past, you know? And if you kind of go against them, they can make it really, really difficult for you to ever get an opportunity again. So, I hope he wins the suit, but I don't know that he'll ever be a head coach.
Okay, K World.
Yeah, Coach. I'm with Jay. I think when you look at this situation, and I think he's going to win the case, and I think it's going to be similar to. And I'm not saying similar to the case as far as what actually transpired, but with Colin Kaepernick, I think once Colin Kaepernick filed that suit, won it, got the undisclosed amount of money, signed the NDA. I think that he kind of like said, okay, well, I'm done with the NFL because I think that was kind of the writing on the wall. I'm not saying it was a part of the agreement, but I think it was one of those things where it just went unsaid that you take this deal, then no one's going to offer you another opportunity in the league. And I think that's the same thing with Brian Flores. I'm coming from as far as a head coaching position goes. So I think he knows what he's getting into. I think he's been advised by several different people, several his lawyers and representatives and other coaches and things of that nature. So I think he's ready to take that fight, and I think he's ready to accept the fact that it's a huge uh, possibility that he will not be a head coach again. I'm not saying that he won't, but I just don't see it, Coach.
Okay. Princess, you thinking Brian Flores is falling on the sword for the next upcoming coaches?
Yeah, for sure he is, Duck. Just look back at all of this. His former owner said, "Don't even have a game plan. Just go fishing." And because we're trying to lose some games, don't even come up with one. There were so many things there, including the whole debacle or confusion or disagreement over Tua himself. But the NFL took it all the way to the Supreme Court and said, "Hey, we can handle our arbitration ourselves. We don't need the court system to step in." And the Supreme Court said, no, you can now proceed to trial and all of the information discovery can come on out. And that's what they were trying to stop. But I don't think that because of all of this, that he will see the field as a head coach in the NFL. At best, at what he is now as a coordinator for the Vikings, I don't see it getting any better than that. And he has fallen on the sword. And Wilkes and the other one have agreed, are in this with him. And I don't see where it's not going to be rendered in his favor. But he's done as far as pursuing that. Even when you don't go against the NFL in a certain way, we don't have that many African American coaches. And this one has raised his hand and say, "Hey, I don't like your system at all, and this is
Okay. If we got Tim back, Tim, your thought.
Yeah, just like the Christmas turkey, when it's ready, you just stick a fork in it because he's done. They're not going to give him another opportunity. But the case is not going to court either. They're going to settle out. He's going to end up with a fat settlement, and that's going to be the end of that because they don't want that discovery out there. They don't want that information out, so they're going to settle.
yeah, they're going to settle. They don't want that out there, and they'll settle out, and he'll walk away with whatever money he has, and except being a coordinator. But all of the owners will do just like Kevin said with Colin Kaepernick. They'll all collaborate, and he won't get another job.
Okay. All right. Princess, let me stay with you. Which I think I don't know if Jason and K World know. But Tim and Princess, that we're doing redistricting, show on redistricting with the coach from Mississippi, coach from Alabama, coach from Georgia, coach from Tennessee,
Yeah, Johnny Storm
and
is the one that said
and
Kevin was
yeah,
on board.
yeah, and Big John who loves K World. So anyway, he was on talking, giving y'all kind of love, man. It felt like Jeter and Jason, but anyway.
Felt like I was getting recruited all over again, Coach. Yeah.
Right,
It's
right. Who loves you, baby? All right. We're talking about that, Princess. Your thoughts on some of the things that were brought up, and do you agree with what the NAACP is saying? Hey, don't go to these schools. There's other schools up north. That's HBCUs. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, Duck, it sounds good. And I want them to kind of do that. But then, I start thinking, wait a minute, then Jaden Ball and Tramel Jones and all of them wouldn't be at Florida. But I like what Hendricks and, gosh, I can't remember the rest. And I'm sorry, gentlemen, said, and that is if they did that, which I don't see how you do that. You can't tell a young man, hey, don't go there because they are high into they are encouraging gerrymandering. They are making sure in Tennessee, Florida, Texas that that's all that they're trying to do, and that's redistrict to dilute the black vote. So, and if you are telling them this and encouraging them to do so, then they got to have something to fall back on, and we better be there to support them. And no one is ready for that. Everybody has an opinion on what they should do, but again, a young man or a young woman playing basketball or football or lacrosse or wherever they are getting NIL or just in recruiting and they get to go to a Power Four school. Some say it's just Power Two now. I think they're going. They're not going to go down this whole political road with us and say, no, I'm not going there because you don't even want my mom and dad to vote or me. I don't think we're there yet, for sure.
Okay, Tim, you just said what Princess said, and you've been on the show with us. John Hendricks brought up a great point. If you're going to tell somebody to not to go to a certain school, and and they've been offered all this money,
Mm-hmm.
you better have a plan B to
Yeah.
kind of help support that kid if he decides to go somewhere else. Your thought?
No, he's right about that. You can't expect first of all, I don't think it's realistic
Yeah.
to expect a 19, 20-year-old kid to take on all of the pressure of making those kinds of decisions when that money's staring him in the face that could be generational for his family. But I think from an institutional standpoint, if you're asking these kids to do it, take a chance out there, step out on faith, you got to be able to offer them an alternative that's reasonably equivalent to what they're turning away from. So I agree with John on that.
Yeah.
Okay,
That.
Jason, your thoughts redistricting, telling the kids, hey, go to this school, go to that school, but don't go south.
Hmm.
Look, I think in principle, I love the idea because why am I going to go play for a school and the fans in the stands are screaming my name while they're actively creating laws to take away my voting power and creating laws against me, right? So I think in theory it makes perfect sense. I just don't know if the 18, 19, 20-year olds of today have the, I don't know, oomph to kind of get that done. It's a different generation, and I just don't know if 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 they would be willing to kind of put themselves out there because there will be sacrifices made. But anytime there's going to be great change, there's going to be people that have to make sacrifices, and I'm just not sure if this generation is willing to do that. I do think they would have other opportunities, though, Coach. I mean, chances are if Ole Miss or Mississippi State or Alabama, Georgia is offering you a scholarship, chances are there's other D1 schools all across the country that are offering you as well. So I think they would have other opportunities. I just don't know if they would sort of organize and have the wherewithal to really get it done.
Okay, K Word.
Yeah, Coach. Yeah, it's not too much I can add on to that, but just to to Jason's point, yeah, in a perfect world, yes, you want that to happen. Also, in a perfect world, you want the those same people who are telling you to to go elsewhere to have a plan B. I don't see that happening either. And if they do have a plan B, I guarantee it won't be anywhere near as attractive as the plan A would be. So it's hard. And again, to Jason's point, an 18 and 19-year-old at this point thinking about voting and the political aspect of it, I think that's the farthest thing from their mind. I think they want to be on TV. They want to make that money, as much money as they possibly can. And if they have the right people around them as well, we talked about taxes, we talked about, the financial advisors and things of that nature. So you want to make as much money as you possibly can while you're doing this. And again, in a perfect world, we would like to see that happen. We would love to see that happen, but I just don't. There's more to it than that. If they can match it, coach, then that's something different. As far as what I'm getting at, Georgia, what I'm getting offered at Alabama, and I go to Grambling State. Can you give me that same money or something close to it? And I don't think that'll be the case at all, coach. So yeah, I again, in theory, and in a perfect world, great, but I just don't see it. I don't see a lot of these young men and women, excuse me, young men and women following suit to that or taking that advice, if you will.
Okay, let's kind of stay with this a little bit. I don't want to again beat a dead horse. But it's no more Malcolm. It's no more Black Panthers. It's no more Martin. So who's our leader? Who's leading us?
LeBron James.
Ja-
Oh Lord have mercy!
Uh,
If I hear that name one
okay.
more time this weekend,
Uh, the question is, I'm gonna start with you, K. Word. So,
good
He
great
oh,
he did the princess. He said, "Lord, have mercy."
Lord, I heard that name so much. Another story for another day. But coach, but yeah, that's a great question, coach. I know we got this, Al Sharpton, but he's getting up there in age. Tooth is getting long there. We gotta, maybe he's mentoring some young men and women that we aren't aware of. Perhaps Barack can, I know he does. He's kind of done that, and when he was in office, but perhaps he can start a mentorship, if you will, or a mentor program to get these kids, looking back at Malcolm, looking back at Martin and Medgar Evers and guys like that, and just give them education, based on that. Maybe it could be a course, maybe it could just be a program. I don't know. Offer that in the HBCUs and things of that nature, and other programs as well, PWIs as well. But offhand, coach, I just can't give you a name right now that stands out to me, and I think that person or persons are in the future for sure. Though I think they're in the works, and I think they're being mentored by some of those people. At least I hope they.
okay. Press.
Yeah, Duck, I don't know whose leadership out there politically. There's still Hakeem Jeffries, who has not had any scandal and seems to be moving forward and may be in power once midterms. I'm hoping that that is it. There's still some Cory Booker out there that's doing a good job. But there's some women, I think, leading too. And let's see what Keisha Lance Bottom does in Georgia. But to say there's a defined one, as Kevin said, Al Sharpton is pretty long in the tooth. Um, I like a Ben Crump who is at least trying to fight for a lot of things that are going on. But to say there's one out there like a Malcolm or like a MLK that everybody is following and waiting to hear what the next thing is so that they can, be a part of the movement. There's no one like that. There's no one like that.
Ch-
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't see anybody. I mean, Benjamin Krupp is probably the most visible person
Hmm.
out there, but I'm not sure I want him arguing my case. Although he does give results. Um, but I don't know that there's a strong leader in our community right now that is of the stature of any of those guys. I mean, even in the '60s, we were talking about the young athletes early on. Um, when Muhammad Ali stepped out and took his stand, um, there were a lot of athletes. I think followed his lead. Jim Brown, who organized that meeting there in Cleveland, and even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was the only college ball player, the non-pro in that group, who really took a chance with his career. I don't think any of those guys are going to do that now, and I don't think we have anybody in our civil rights apparatus that is stepping forward to take on that mantle.
okay. Jason.
Yeah, I would agree with what's been said. As everyone was talking, I'm sitting here trying to think like who would be the leader, and I could not come up with a name. I think too, though, Coach, like I think maybe, let's just say in the 60s, it was probably easier for black people to sort of galvanize behind a leader. When you're getting sprayed with water hoses or they're sicking dogs on you, or you got to sit in the back of the bus and go to that water fountain and you can't eat at this restaurant. I think collectively you can just say, look, this is wrong. We need to do something. And you can get behind someone. I think now in 2026, where although the racism is alive and well, because it's not as in your face at times, I think maybe people just aren't as whatever, just aren't as willing to maybe rally behind someone. I think there's good people out there. Prince has named several, but I don't think there's really any one person that the community is would really consider a leader.
And you brought up an interesting point, Jason, when you talk about, rally behind someone. Seems like only time we rally behind somebody is when somebody gets killed, somebody gets shot, and it seems like that shouldn't be the only time to bring all of us together. I sometimes, and I don't know if you guys, I like listening to Rowan Martin a lot. He has a lot of, I mean, great stuff to say. Uh, I don't know if you guys listen to him listen to his show when he comes on.
I just
Rowan
don't
and
watch
Martin,
it.
Rowan and
Yeah.
Martin's laughing.
No, 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 no. The brother Rowan Martin.
No, I know you doing. Yeah, Roland is a very good spokesperson, but Roland, I think, appeals to a certain segment of our community, not the wide swath that a Martin Luther King or somebody like that does. I mean,
Oh
we've got
no,
people
no,
like,
definitely, yeah,
yeah,
definitely
we've
not.
also got a couple of entertainers. I mean, D.L. Hughley has a tremendously clear voice. Dave Chappelle as well. But I don't remember that we've ever been led by an entertainer. Dick Gregory was the voice, but he wasn't the primary voice of our community even back then.
Harry Belafonte was pretty good, but like you said, he did more of the stuff to help to behind the scenes than in front of the scene. Yeah. All right, but hey, we could always get Herschel Walker's agent. We could get Pootie Tang to lead us.
Slide I say.
So glad I've never seen the movie.
All right, Princess, take us home. I just wanted to. get a little hot topics with my boys. I hadn't had a chance to
Okay.
do anything with.
I in even though this may aggravate Kevin, are we not going to talk about the trade at all?
Go ahead, Princess. Do your thing. What's up?
Lord have mercy.
And I'm starting with Kevin Walker.
So right. I tell you, man. I haven't been to Philadelphia. Let me start off. I said I haven't been to Philadelphia in years. I'm talking about years and years for quite some time. The one time I decided to go to Philadelphia,
Yeah.
this guy wants to announce the day before I go that he's going to Philadelphia. And then I'm not a fan of Philadelphia, even though I went to school there. I grew up in that area. I'm not a fan of Philadelphia. But if I hear LeBron James name one more time, for oh my goodness. But all serious, I look at this trade and I see why LeBron went there. That's probably the best because he chases rings. He's a star lover. He's a
You didn't
superstar
mind him
lover.
chasing them in Miami. You
Was
didn't
that?
mind him. You didn't mind him chasing them in Miami.
That's the reason he's the reason why I became a Miami Heat fan. To be honest with you, but when he left me, I still haven't gotten over the breakup, if you will.
He
So
said
that's
when
the yeah. So that's why I feel the way I do about LeBron because he should have stayed. But yeah, when you when you look at this, I mean, it's a great lineup on paper. But these players are all when you look at them, they're all ball dominant. And you look at Embiid, and you wonder once you get the ball to Embiid, will it come out of that black hole in enough time for one of those other guys to get a shot? I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out. But they're all ball dominant. You got to wonder who's going to be the most dominant. Is it going to be VJ? Is it going to be Tyrese Maxey? Who's going to control that ball? Who's going to bring that ball up each and every time? I know they all can bring it up. That's today's day and age. But and another question you got to ask, how long before Embiid gets hurt? It's not a matter of if he gets hurt; it's when he gets hurt, and it's just the nature of the beast for him. Um, Looking at it, yeah, on paper you got to say they're the favorite. I don't like it as a fan, but just as a professional, you like it. You see why they're the favorites coming out of the East. So overall, I think it was a good move by LeBron. I'm questioning why he doesn't want to live in Philadelphia. I think I know the answer. From what I'm hearing, he's supposed to be living in New York and New Jersey, and he's going to commute via helicopter to Philadelphia. That's one of the things I just heard today. But I understand why he doesn't want to live in Philadelphia. Believe you me, I understand.
Understand though that his wife has launched her new cosmetic line with an agreement and a contract with Jay Z, and so New York is where she can maneuver while he's playing.
That
But
explains a lot. That explains a lot.
yeah, she signed a contract with Jay Z, and they've collaborated, and now they're launching, and New York is where she wants to be. So, um, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But um, Jason, your thoughts? Where were you when you heard it? And your thoughts?
Yeah, I was surprised. I really didn't have Philly as a serious contender on my list. I thought, Miami or even possibly going to Golden State and playing with Steph. So I was very surprised when I saw that he was going to Philly, but like K Walk said, when you look at it on paper, I do think it makes a lot of sense from a basketball standpoint. And look, Princess, just to be honest, like the NBA has lost a lot of luster for me over the last few years. So if LeBron going to Philly is going to sort of make the NBA exciting again, I'm all for it. But the one thing I thought was interesting, only $8 million. Like, and I know LeBron will say, well, it wasn't about the money, but I just wonder if there was really a market out there or a team that was out there that was willing to pay LeBron serious money, or if that 8 million was sort of all he could get at the age of 42. But overall, I think it's good, and I think it'll make the NBA more exciting.
I thought that they were worried about the cap space and what they had dealt and done with Brown, and that LeBron came back and just said it's not about the money. Let's see if we can make this work. But I do agree, 8 million in 2 years is not a lot of money. But how much does he need after I think it was 46 million or 56 million from the Lakers this year? But I do
53.
agree. 53. Okay.
53.
So it's not like he is needing the money, and I think that he worked that out with Philly and worked with their salary cap, Jason. So, Tim, your thoughts? And I just want to say, Tim, that I am a 76ers fan and count on me being in Philly. Um, Kevin.
Well, you all know on the show, I'm a 76ers fan, have been since Dr. J came there from the New York Nets of the ABA. And, they've been telling us to trust the profit process ever since Allen Iverson left. And it has been painful. Um, but I think this is a formidable lineup. Their starting five is, in my opinion, when they're healthy, probably the best in the league.
Yeah,
Um, I think this is going to be set up so that LeBron does not have to carry the load the entire season. For most games, it'll probably be Maxey and Brown that are the heavy load bearers, so to speak, in terms of playing time and in terms of responsibility for scoring and leading the team. And LeBron will pick his shots key moments in the ball game. He will interject himself into it and assert himself, and that might work. But I don't know what their bench looks like now, so we'll just have to wait and see. And I don't know if it was Jason or Kevin that mentioned Embiid has not been healthy for a full season since Heck was a pup. So I don't know.
yeah. Him playing 36 to 42 games, is that enough to still win a championship? Are they formidable with a smaller lineup with someone else at the five? Duck, your thoughts? Where were you? And your thoughts about
Well, I'm up in New Jersey. I thought it was Christmas where they are going crazy.
it?
But anyway, look, the best thing that they did, that president of operations has really helped turn the Sixers around. He was a guard at West Virginia University, just in case you're wondering, Prince.
Now I'm still. Now I'm doing the Kevin. My God. Okay, is that all you got, Duck?
That's all I need to say. They winning now. They're gonna win.
Okay. I think it's going to be a big adjustment. And as everyone know, I'm the biggest LeBron fan, and I'm going to follow him to the 76ers to see what happens. I personally, as a woman, I just don't want him to get hurt. I want this to be, for him to ride out as best as he can. And if this is it, let's see what happens. I'm wishing that Embiid, for once, is healthy. I found out through a text message from Tony Coleman. That's how I found out. And I looked at it and then went on doing what I was. And then once I got to back to, a place where I can kind of look it up. But I thought he was surely headed to Cleveland, a la what Tim Moore and I have been talking about. I didn't think he was going to
Yeah,
Miami, but I
yeah,
do
I
want to
thought
ask
so too.
Kevin. Yeah, I thought he was headed to Cleveland, but the lure of this lineup with Edgecombe and Maxey and Brown, plus LeBron, maybe that was good enough. And his friend Paul, gosh, Rich Paul is the agent for Nick Nurse and the agent for Maxey, and maybe there was some conversation there. I don't know, but Kevin, if he'd come back to Miami, would you welcome him?
It would be hard, Princess. I always root for the front of the jersey as opposed to the back of the jersey for sure.
Yeah, Kevin. I know a therapist. I have one. We can kind of,
I'm good, Princess. I self help, and I'm just, I was saying to myself during the whole decision, whatever you want to call it, that time frame. I was like, listen, I don't care where he goes, just don't go to Philadelphia, please. Just don't go to Philadelphia, because I know so many Sixer fans. Nothing against you, Tim. You're all right with me, Tim. But there's a lot of annoying Sixers fans out there, man. I'm talking about this Philadelphia Eagles. Phillies, yeah, Sixers. I mean, it's just something about them that just gets under my skin, and I just don't know. The Lord tested me this week, ladies and gentlemen. The Lord tested me to my fullest. And I tell you, I passed for flying colors. So I hope I get up there when I go. When it's time for me to go, I hope He's welcome me in there because because that was tough. That was rough, Coach.
Sentence you said is that when he left me at Miami, yeah, you still need to get a little bit of therapy. But you were at the Phillies game
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah, the next day. Yeah, I when I saw it, when I heard when the news broke, I'm watching. I'm working and I'm watching. I keep ESPN on all day long, and it broke, and I'm like, good gracious, that they broke the news, and I almost broke my computer. So, but
That game, there were a
Hey,
lot of
somebody,
LeBron. Go ahead, Tim.
no, somebody mentioned that he was going to live in New
Tim.
York and helicopter in. You know, Dr. J did that his first season in Philadelphia. He still lived in New York and he helicoptered into Philly every day.
okay,
Oh yeah, but he was right over at Villanova, Tim. That wasn't a terrible ride.
he helicoptered from
Yeah.
Villanova.
Yeah. They stayed out that way, man.
Oh, okay, but that wasn't no. As soon as you start the helicopter, it take you longer to start the helicopter than it actually to
I
drive there.
know, I know.
Yeah. I wish him luck. I want to see what that looks like. And the 76ers are relevant just because of this. Let's see what they do with it, but they got to be one of the favorites. But I still think that the Knicks are still out there, and I don't put much on Boston right now. Let's see what Tatum can do, and then there's Cleveland and the Cavaliers. So, but they got to come out of the East. But thank you for indulging me,
Yeah,
Kevin, to get through this. You called on the Lord a couple of times, but we made
I
it
did.
through.
I
Okay.
did before, and Jason can attest to that. Jason can attest to in our thread that we have with Sports Talk K-Walk, and he's got live on Wednesday nights right here on Never Had So Good Sports Radio.
Go.
love it. I love it. I love it. A
All
Call.
right,
shameless promo. A
hey,
shameless
hey,
promo. I love
hey,
it.
Princess, let's end this thing with a little country road.
Duck, I don't know if I have country roads. Let's see. Why do we have to do this, Duck? Um, Kevin, do you know where it is? Maybe
um,
Kevin did it.
I'm not in the system, but it is there. I did see it. I think it's towards the top. Top.
Okay.
It should be number one.
Yeah.
It's number
I,
one
I,
everywhere else.
I think their soccer team stole it out of the studio.
Ain't that a dog? Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah. Now, Duck, I
Uh,
didn't see that. You
hey, now, Princess, tomorrow night we're gonna have the World Cup on. We got four guys that played, so we're gonna have them on.
Yes, I saw that, and I'll get that ready. I now have time, and I do not see this, and I know it's in here. I'm sorry, Duck.
Well, we can end it with the music you were playing because I could get back up and pop lock and robot at the same time.
Duck, please sit down. Hurt yourself.
Your bones popping, your knees locking, coach.
Exactly.
Oh, hey Jason, you gonna let him get on your coach like that?
Hey, coach, I was with you, but that was funny. You got to give it to Kevin.
I was playing some Earth, Wind, and Fire, Jason and Kevin, on your face, and he was like, "Yeah," and he started singing. I had to mute his mic.
Hey, Prince, that about some old times, man. I'm like, woo.
Tell us about him, Duck. Tell us about him. What you got to say?
No, no,
Huh?
no, no. We don't, Princess, you ain't pulling me in on that stuff. No,
Tried to pull you in.
look, Princess, we're happy over here.
Yeah.
Hey, Princess. Hey, Princess. If we don't have to go immediately, I would like to find out from Jason what's going to happen with Penn State after having lost all of those guys to Virginia Tech in the off season. What's the Penn
All right,
State
hold up
season
before
look like?
before he answers, Tim. I gotta go.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Tim, we lost like 40 guys to the portal, But we did bring in like another 35 to 40 guys as well. What I was telling them earlier is that I think our first 11 on offense and defense are pretty good. But I just think if there's any injuries, I don't really know that we're going to have the depth to really compete. The
Okay.
one silver lining is the schedule makers really did us a favor. Right? We have a very favorable schedule. We don't play Ohio State. We don't play Indiana. We don't play Oregon. We do play Michigan and USC, but that's from a scheduling standpoint. I think we're going to be all right. But it's going to be interesting because I do think this is probably the least talented team we've had in the last 5 years.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Duck, anything you want to add to that? He is not going to say one word, Jason.
Listen, he's still suffering from those beatings we've been putting on West Virginia the last few years.
Yes, talk the talk, Jason. Talk the talk. All right. Anything else, Tim? Because I found Country Roads, Duck. Duck.
I'm
Well,
back with you
Princess.
now. I'm
Go
back with.
Well, Princess, I
ahead,
saw I
Tim.
saw a ranking. I saw a ranking the other day where they're expecting the Miami Hurricanes to be in the top 10 again.
You're breaking up, Tim. You're breaking.
I thought it was just me, President. I thought it was just me breaking up.
I don't want to hear that foolishness. Uh, I hope they don't win a game. Now, did everyone see where the AD or the general manager for the Tar Heels was in football was let or no placed on leave?
Yeah, I think it's paid leave, right? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
paid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
And did anybody
So
see
what did
what?
he do?
I don't know. No one said
Yeah,
anything yet.
I
Yeah,
didn't see it either. I just saw.
yeah.
I didn't see
And then the
exactly what.
last did
yeah. I think he asked her for her ID, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
uh,
did anyone see where Eric Bieniemy's wife was shot today?
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, by their son. Yes, yes.
Is she still living?
Yes, yes.
For living.
Uh, she's recovering, but that right there. I like to hear the story behind that. That's crazy right there. I don't. I'm trying to think. What could your mom possibly do to you that make you want to do something that crazy?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine, Doctor.
Oh my.
Well,
Yeah, and
not to spread my family mess, but my mom's brother was growing marijuana plants at my grandmother's house, their mother's place,
oh,
and so my mother pulled him up, and her brother came to the school where she was teaching, and she was the principal with a shotgun.
really?
Yeah. Now that was 20, 30 years ago, but you just I don't know. You never know what people are going through, but that's a little bit crazy, isn't it? You know, people do crazy stuff. People do crazy stuff. So, okay, so that's my foolishness for today, or some of my dirty laundry. But that happened in my family. Yeah. So, all right, Duck, I found country roads. You want to go out on this? Tim's travel safe. Jason and Kevin, come back anytime. And
Appreciate.
Kevin, just one more time. One more time. What show are you doing?
Sports Talk with K Walker and E Scott Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. And Jay, as with a special guest, Jason Collins, he joins us every Wednesday night, ladies and gentlemen.
hey, Princess, I'm just still stuck on that. Her brother coming to the school like that. And the closest thing I ever got to a dealer was a Girl Scout cookie. They killed me.
Hey man, them little girls are dangerous, bro. If you
They
you
I
know.
ever
know.
try, you ever decided not to buy cookies?
Oh, I, you want these cookies.
All right.
Bro, you better buy them cookies.
All right. I'm waiting for
We
them
got
to post up out of in front of a dispensary. I'm waiting for them to post up there. They make a lot of money.
there right here.
That's the story.
So, okay, I'm
You
out.
know they gonna be. You know they gonna be hungry after that.
Oh man.
So tomorrow night we're talking soccer. I'll get that to you, and then I think track and field is coming up on Thursday. Do we have something on Thursday, Doug?
Uh,
No, not this Thursday.
no. We can't do Thursday. It's somebody's birthday.
It's National Holidays, National Princess Robinson Day. Yeah, so no show on Thursday.
Nice,
All
nice.
right, all right. Have a great week. Tim, travel safe. We'll see you next time. And here's the worst song I've ever heard. Oh my God, Kevin, this is where you just say, "Oh my."
Blue Ridge Mountain.